Good morning, hospitality listeners, because I am excited. This is one of your hosts, Will Slickers, and this is a special bonus episode from my time at TravelNet Solutions conference called Next. Now, I was in Minneapolis and it was a great time. Unfortunately, I wasn't joined by either of my co hosts, but we had such a good opportunity to get to meet some of the users of Track and TravelNet softwares internally. It was such a great user conference. The food was amazing, and it was just awesome to be in person with our partners once again. So, what you're going to hear in this bonus episode is a compilation of micro interviews that I did while at the conference. I got to go around to different vendors and, of course, different property managers to hear their stories, to hear what's new, what's happening, and to ask some questions around what they're seeing at this user conference and what they're all excited to talk about. So, enjoy this bonus episode number 2 as we dive in and have a compilation episode for you. Make sure you check the show notes to see who these special guests are and make sure that you connect with them, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all the above. We love having these interviews and these opportunities to speak at conferences and to meet so many great listeners and fans, and of course, partners in person. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you all again on the next one.
Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels and short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, Megan. Good morning. How are we doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good. Day 2.
Day 2 for
Day
me.
2.
Day 3 for you?
Day 3 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you got
Energy's
in
high, though.
Sunday? Saturday.
Saturday. Day 4. Today's
Okay,
day 4.
day 4.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Yeah.
day 4. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
day 2 for our viewers and listeners who have been listening.
Yep.
I'm excited to talk to you because, one, we're at the Amazing Sojo booth. We're here at Next.
Obviously. It's
There's
looking great.
They're the best booth. No offense to everybody else here,
I
but
agree.
they are the best booth in the whole vendor hall. So,
Okay. Just make sure Brooke doesn't hear us.
yeah,
okay?
we don't want Brooke Fotz hearing that they have the best
He's
booth.
very serious over there working, so
Yeah.
he won't even.
Shout out to Brooke. Okay, I'm really excited to talk to you because the Sojo team introduced me to you. We got a little chat, and you guys have a very, very interesting business. So I would love for you to just kind of describe the founding story maybe and going into what you guys do and
Yeah,
how
of
you
course.
build the business. And then there'll be a ton of questions I'll be throwing at you throughout that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. So we're based in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and Outpost has 250 units, and they
Okay.
kind of cover the entire spectrum. So you've got your condos, you've got your single family homes, multifamily units, and they really range from like mid-grade all the way to super luxe. And
Okay.
Jackson's a really unique community because there are only about 800 professionally managed homes in Jackson. So we have a significant amount of the market share, which is really exciting. And we've grown really quickly over the last couple of years. So the
Mhm.
company was founded in 2014, and I came in about 2 years ago when
Okay.
we built our holding company called the Outpost Group
Okay.
to oversee our entities in Jackson, which is not just Outpost.
Okay. This is where it's going to get exciting. But you also didn't just start with Outpost. You started technically with eData and 360 Blue.
Yeah, so I started with 360 Blue and reservations in 2015. So a long time ago now,
Yeah.
almost 9 years ago. And I had, like most people, no interest in being in vacation rentals, but I really found this like really cool company that I
Yeah.
wanted to be a part of.
Did you
And
fall into vacation rentals like we all did?
yeah,
Yeah.
I did. I was like, I'm going to move to Thailand or become a lawyer. I had all these like grand ideas of what I wanted to do. And then I started working for 360. And I met Jason and Ashley and Jeremy, who founded and owned 360, and I never looked back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never looked
Greatest
back.
years of life,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm saying now here you are killing it. You
Yep.
guys are doing some cool things at Outpost. So my one thing that we always hear kind of on the podcast, we always interview entrepreneurs, and their number one thing is like stay focused, right? Pick one inventory, pick one business to do.
Oh, yeah. The hedgehog
Yes.
concept. Okay.
Yes. So how is it managing 250 properties that are a mixed style of unit type and obviously probably traveler and guest?
Yep. So it's really, we try to make it look as easy as possible. And the goal is We really want all of our owners and all of our guests to feel like they're at home when they're in Jackson. And that was so important to us. And what we've done is we have 6 companies in Jackson, but we have a leader of each individual entity
Awesome.
whose main focus is the experience of the client or the owner or the guest at their respective business.
Mhm.
And then we have our parent company, which our job is to really make sure that each of those leaders is ensuring that the clients are having the best experience possible, that our marketing looks fantastic, that our financials are up to date.
Yeah.
And that is really helpful for us, just like build a really incredible team. And it really fulfills our entrepreneurial need to
Yeah.
do a lot of things at one time.
Yeah. Like shiny object syndrome, but controlled
Yes,
and
exactly.
executed and planned. I
Yeah.
like that. So with these companies, they all serve each other into the guest and the traveler and the homeowner and all this stuff that you guys have. For a lot of people that are listening, watching, kind of maybe showcase why does this fit so good? If we have companies that support each other for an overall goal and mission of guest experience, customer service, executing high level, hospitality, basically.
Right. I think that so many companies will relate to this. Whether you have one unit or whether you have 1,000, you want to control as much of the experience as you possibly can,
100%.
especially when you work in a vacation destination or even a leisure market where getting a vendor on the phone is nearly impossible. And it takes them months and months and months to address a leak. And you've gotten 5 one-star reviews about it. And so the most we can do to control that experience is really where this idea was born.
Yeah.
So the housekeeping company came first, and we were having a really, really hard time keeping housekeepers on staff, and just attrition overall with our housekeepers and honestly with our homes, because we're in such a difficult market,
Mhm.
was becoming an issue. And so we thought, okay, if we can start this housekeeping company, housekeepers can all come in as employees rather than contractors. Like, that is one facet of the
Yeah.
experience we can control. And then it snowballed from there, and
Yeah.
it just went downhill really quickly, and the snowball kept getting bigger and bigger.
So you guys not only have the housekeeping company, you have coffee roaster, you have
Yep, landscaping and snow removal.
okay, I love that.
Yes. So actually, private chef came second.
Okay.
There were 2 chefs in town in Jackson that had been laid off during COVID.
Yeah.
And were thinking about what they could do. They were running a couple restaurants in town, and they started doing meal delivery at home.
Mm.
And Mecky, who owns the Outpost Group, said, wait, I think that this could be like a really awesome partnership.
Yeah.
I have the business sense. You 2 are incredibly talented at what you do. One is a sweet chef, one is a savory chef. I know. So we kind of
I'm
had
hungry.
everything.
I'm
Yeah,
hungry.
right? Same. And their partnership really created this in-home private chef experience that elevated Outpost to this next level.
I love that.
Then it was the landscaping and snow removal business, which again, like, it's the vendor side of things in Jackson and in so many other destinations. Getting someone to come service landscaping for your owners or snow removal in those times that last for 8 months out of the year are really, really difficult. And
Yeah.
so this company allowed us to control even more, particularly of the owner experience. And then the coffee roasting business happened, and that is the newest venture.
I love coffee, so you already had me at coffee. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, sign me up.
Sign me up.
I'm quitting podcasting, guys. I'm going to Jackson Hole, and I'm going to start.
You're going to start roasting
Yeah.
coffee?
Yes, 100%.
It is. So this is actually funny. Side note, green coffee is coffee that has not been roasted
Yeah.
yet. I did not know that. So when I first
Oh.
started, my job was like research green coffee buying, right? Because you're sourcing
Yeah.
green coffee beans, like hundreds of pounds of green coffee beans from
Yeah.
different countries.
Where do you guys get your beans?
So, oh my gosh, Papua New Guinea, Brazil, Guatemala,
I'm a Brazilian bean
Ethiopia.
guy, but
Oh, you
yeah,
are?
yeah.
Okay, we have a really incredible farm that we work with in Brazil. I thought green coffee was like sustainable coffee for the first 2 months. That I'm like so mortified
You're
to
like,
say that out
how do we
loud.
figure this out?
I know. I was like, sustainability is really important
Yeah.
to me. And then I realized that green coffee was coffee that hadn't
Yeah.
been roasted yet. And I was like, okay, I have a lot to learn about this industry.
You learn something new
every
all the time.
single day.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I had, like, growing up, my family would tell me that I was allergic to milk. And so
Mhm.
my milk was different. It was rice milk. And I had called it boys' milk because I had 5 sisters. And so no one told me that when you go to other people's houses and they ask you if you want a
No,
glass of
you
milk,
say,
I
"I
have
want
like,
boys'
I want
milk."
boys' milk. Yeah. So you never
That's
know.
really
Green
funny.
coffee beans could be
Yeah,
sustainable.
okay,
you
that
know.
makes me feel
Could-
better,
yeah.
right?
I was going to say, I'll share an embarrassing make you feel a little bit better about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm very curious. So there's a lot of people listening. I think we're all the message of 2023 for vacation rental managers or hosts or anybody under the umbrella of the industry. I think we're all tired,
Yeah.
very tired. And it's turn of staff, turn of ownership. It's turn of this and like lower margins, higher operating costs, but
Mhm.
lack of revenue, scarcity of oversupply in a market.
Mhm.
And you were kind of telling me about how Jackson Hole, there's either government owned land
Right.
or I forget the other one, but there's not really many places to go outside
Mhm.
unless you want to go to Idaho Falls. So when you guys are building this internal empire, multiple businesses under one holding company in an area that really isn't much growth outside of that market, how do you guys, I guess, handle the housekeeping employment and the owner turn possibilities? Like
Mhm.
how's that all happening within, and how are you guys, I guess, in a easier way of saying, making sure that it's not happening, like
Yeah.
in the turns?
Yeah. Keeping the house
Yeah.
stable,
Yeah.
the house of our
Better
companies.
phrasing.
Yeah. So, okay. It's really, really difficult. And it is by far, I mean, really, it starts with the employees.
Mhm.
There is so much employee churn because you have people that primarily are from New England. It's really interesting that move out west,
Okay.
that really want to get out of the hustle and bustle of the city. And it is a tough life. Like, not only is it winter for 8 months out of the year, and it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I got
Mhm.
stressed just thinking about it. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's coming. It's
yeah.
already, like, frosty out there right now, and we're at the end of September, but it's just really difficult to live there,
Mm,
both because of the winter and the need for snow tires, which are really expensive,
yeah.
but also housing
Mm,
is incredibly difficult, and it's really unique in Jackson because the land, so 97% of the land outside of the town of Jackson, which is incredibly small, we have a population of, like, 10,000 people,
oh wow.
is all owned by the National Park Service. We have Yellowstone National Park, Grand Teton National Park, Bridger Teton National Forest. And so much of the land is protected,
Hmm.
and it really prevents you from going outside of the town of Jackson. And Idaho Falls is 2 hours away, and some people do commute, but it's just a tough, like, you have to work really hard to make it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
similar to like living in a San Francisco or a
Yeah.
Manhattan, a different lifestyle, but it's really expensive and you have to be super committed to want to
Yeah.
stay there.
100%.
And so we spend a significant amount of time talking about employees and how we can keep them around.
Yeah.
Like, not only compensation is a really huge part of that. And so we have to pay our employees more.
Hmm.
And we understand that that is a cost of doing business, but it's also like we want to make sure that they can afford to live
Yeah.
as comfortably as possible in a town like Jackson.
100%.
The benefits package, ski passes, anything that we can do to make the environment really fun, happy hours and team ski days. And I think culture is such a like big buzzword
Yeah.
these days, but it really does matter, especially when you have owners who want to make sure that you have a really solid foundation. And the more
Yeah.
churn they see on the employee side, the more concerned they get. But we actually, so this is really interesting, essentially have like zero churn, which we're really, really proud of. And it's so different. I come from a beach destination
Yeah.
where the market is so saturated
It's in
that,
and out, in and
oh
out.
my God,
Yeah.
so much churn all the time. And if the company next door to you gives a lower projection, then like the owner is gone the next day.
Yeah.
There is a sense of loyalty that exists in Jackson. And I think that's true of ski markets a
Yeah.
lot of the time in general. That has really been incredible to see coming from a place like Santa Rosa Beach in the
Mm.
30A Destin area. But I think that that is a really big testament to what we do to try to keep our employees there and happy as much as we possibly can. And we have a higher commission percentage, but we try to include as much as possible within that commission percentage so our owners don't feel like they're getting nickel and dimed.
Yeah. Well, you're able to offer more by the just ecosystem of everything you guys have built from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, if you go to company X, good luck getting your snow moved off
Yeah.
that roof of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like
exactly.
that makes sense versus maybe a company, even I can use ours, for example. Like we don't have all those services. It's like,
Mhm.
hey, we're lucky if our maintenance guy can get out of his own driveway, So it's like,
Right.
figure it out. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. All of our owners listening, that's not happening.
I promise they're getting out of their
Yeah, they're
driveway.
getting out. So yeah, like that makes so much more sense on why you can do that.
Yeah.
And culture is a buzzword, but I think culture applied in actuality of the business. So giving like the ski pass, like I love that example because I'm sure your housekeepers and any other team members
Mhm.
that are working their butts off like, I'm sure they would love to go skiing and like enjoy some time with their family.
Oh my
And
God,
like,
absolutely.
yeah, so taking the time off and actually having the ability to benefit from it is just really important. I think,
Mhm.
that actually applies into the actual work that they do.
Yep.
And so you also mentioned off camera, getting in the forefront and doing more with AI.
Yeah, talk about
So
a
yeah, I
buzzword.
know, real buzzwords. It really got me going.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of vacation rental management companies try to either find that fine line of, hey, I'm going to go all in on AI,
Yeah.
or I'm out of AI and I don't want to be a part of it.
Mhm.
And I think humans are the only thing that can do what we do. So, okay, yes, there's two different camps and there's like that middle camp
Yeah.
that's like, I'm trying to figure it out. I want to play with Chat GPT, but I also like want to make sure we're getting that personality piece in.
Mhm.
So you guys are trying to get on the forefront of AI, be, more adaptive than anything. So kind of give me your thought process and thinking with AI, how it's impacting our industry, your guys' multiple businesses,
Yeah.
not just the one. So we'd love to know your
I love
thoughts.
this conversation.
Yes.
Okay, so I come from
We're
a
about to
revenue
geek out.
management background. Yeah, right. I come from a revenue management background,
Mhm.
which revenue managers like I don't want to use any type of automated tool. I
Yeah.
want to do as much as possible to have as much human intervention as I possibly can. And I think that that is so important and something that will never ever ever be replaced by
Yeah.
AI. My opinion on AI, and I like am open to debate if you have
Ooh,
a different opinion
yes, let's go.
or if the listeners have a
Yeah.
different opinion, is that it's not going anywhere, right? Like, I think that we can all agree on the fact that it is only going to get more involved from here and more experienced and more advanced. And so I think you have this option to either embrace it and try to fit it into your company, or you can run from it and really be on the backside
Yeah.
of the future. And so I think it's scary for our team, right? Like we have a lot of conversations with the team who's worried about AI replacing their roles, which
Yep.
I don't think is a possibility for a lot of reasons. Like AI can't manage people and
No.
AI can't have HR conversations. Like there's so much about AI that it can't do on the human interaction side, but it can write copy
Yeah.
really, really well.
Yeah.
And it can help you debug code if you
Yep.
need it to. And I think I had a friend actually who's not in the industry. Her boss sat her whole team down and said, I want you to replace one part of your job with AI.
Mm.
And I thought that that was really, really interesting and a good way to get people familiar with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think the more familiarity you do have with it, the less afraid of it you are.
Yeah.
So, however, we can integrate it into our business to make things more efficient, not necessarily on like the communicating with the guest front, but
Yeah.
if it can help write emails and templates that are still read through by humans, like that would be a huge game changer for us. And so we're continuously looking like transcribing notes, which I
Mhm.
know CJ over there does
Yeah.
with his team. So yeah, that's my opinion. What are your thoughts?
I'm very much in the same camp. I'm a big believer you don't need to understand AI in the sense of how it's made, what's built behind the curtain type deal.
Yeah,
You just need to understand how to use it and use it properly.
totally agree.
So it's just like why like a lot of people here at TravelNet's conference next, it's not like we're here to learn anything crazy new. It's like we need to understand our tools better. We need
Mhm.
to understand our partners better. That's why a lot of I think businesses in our industry can really struggle. Is like, all right, this PMS doesn't work or this doesn't work. I'm just gonna get a new one. And then they
Yeah,
go to the next company and then it's like the same cycle over and over again when in
yeah.
reality, did you
Maybe you're the problem.
yeah, well it's
Yeah.
like, did you really take the time to learn the
Yeah.
product? And like sometimes it sucks because these guys have a hard job too. Like they have to teach the software to a lot of people, to a
Hmm.
lot of teams, a lot of companies that use it differently.
Yep.
So being able to just have this ability to chase down that person and like, hey, I'm not understanding this piece.
Yeah.
Help me figure this out. And if it is a product issue, great. You're able to like figure that out. So I'm a big believer, not understanding the technicality, but understanding the use case.
Same.
So
Same.
it's
I
like,
don't think anybody knows. It's like the black box. Like
yeah,
you don't need to know.
like Elon Musk knows how ChatGPT was built, but I don't care. And
Yeah.
I actually don't think I want to
It
know.
seems like space in my brain that I can't afford
Yeah.
to take up with
Amen.
knowledge. Yeah.
Amen. Yeah. So I very much believe it too. I think you can also speed up the process of everything you were saying. Like if I sit down to write this episode's copy, this is going to take me 20 minutes because I'm going to try to like think like, how do I want to word this? How do I want to do this?
Yeah.
In reality,
Or it could transcribe the episode for you.
there you go.
Yeah, and it does so well. We use HubSpot as a CRM for our other business. I was telling you a little bit off camera, and they now transcribe voicemails,
Mm.
but not just transcribe, they summarize, and they do it
Oh,
with
that's
emails
nice.
too. So if a client sends us a 5-paragraph email where you're just dreading sitting down and reading that
Yeah,
like you have 400 things to do, it will summarize it so succinctly, but include all the necessary details
that's
and it
awesome.
even tell you the tone of the message so you know, like, okay, they're pissed off. Like, I will also read the 5-paragraph email,
Yeah, yeah,
or they're just inquiring about if you can mow their lawn next
yeah.
week.
That's
Game
great.
changer.
Great. We use a editing software called Descript,
Yeah.
and they do transcriptions. They also have like this AI feature where all this background noise with us right now is going to be gone by the time we
I've
edit.
been concerned about that.
Yeah, no, it'll be gone. It'll be completely taken out as long as we keep the mics good. We'll be fine.
My mic, I've been doing a
No, you've been
lot with
good.
the
You've been
mic.
good. No,
Okay.
you've been good.
Okay, cool.
I would like
You should lift
yeah,
it
yeah,
up a
up,
little
up.
bit. Yeah.
But then there's also the transcription piece, and I was playing around with it, and it can change my tone. So if I end on a sentence or I cut a clip and it sounds like it ends weird,
Yeah.
I can have it regenerate my tone and make it sound like I ended in a real
Yeah.
sentence. So AI's crazy.
We're on
It's
the
cool.
same team.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
100%.
I hope people have different opinions about
Yeah,
it because
bring it
I
on.
want to do some like healthy arguing,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, healthy arguing.
Yeah.
I like
I've
it.
been healthy arguing with my marketing team about it because they're like, we're going to write that copy. Like, do
Yeah.
not put that into Chat GPT. And I'm like, I already did it.
Well, tell them to get more like, hey, let's be creative. Like, put in ChatGPT and let's make it more fun. Like, let's create better campaigns. Let's do this. Like, you have so much time.
Totally.
Yeah,
There's
I,
so much opportunity.
I'm on your team.
Yeah.
I'm on your team. All right. So, my question I've been asking everyone at Next to kind of like wrap up the episode is more around what's been the one thing that you were looking forward to being here? Was it trying to get educated in a certain area? Was it networking? What was the piece that you were hoping to take away from the conference?
Okay. So, my favorite part about every conference, I answer this question with a track team member yesterday is like
Dang
seeing
it,
all
I'm
my
changing my
friends.
question.
I know. But it's such a fun
Yeah.
question. I do think, and it sounds silly, but there is something about talking not only to vendors, which we all have so many conversations with vendors, but
Yeah.
other companies that are really, really different than yours or really, really similar to yours. You know, Track rolled out the distribution engine, which has been a very hot topic
Okay.
in the last 2 months. They're still in the process of rolling it out,
Mhm.
and it's had a lot of mixed reviews so far. But the one thing that I have loved about it is it has sparked so much conversation between other vacation rental managers. And so I could call my friend Dirk, who is in Washington, and say, like, hey, what do you think about this distribution engine? And I met him at Next.
Yeah.
You know, and like the friends that you can make that help you get through hard times in your business. My friend Brian Harris, that's down in Gulf Shores, we talk once a month. And
100%.
we also met at Net. Like, there are so many opportunities that I really enjoy coming. Like, I think it is always worth your time.
Yeah.
So that's been my favorite part, I think.
I love it. And this is my first user conference, so I like that
really?
everyone is here on
Do
the
you have a
same.
first timer badge on
I
your?
know, I know. I'm not a big conference badge guy.
Yeah.
I technically kind of hate them, but
Yeah,
it just like throws off my outfit, you know?
it does throw off the outfit,
Yeah.
and they always get stuck.
Yeah.
Like when you're
And
in
they're all
sweaters
like
like
long
this.
and yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
agreed.
that's rough. So yeah, I love that. This has been really cool to see. I love knowing that everyone's on the same software, at least same core software.
Yeah.
You'd be like, cool. Like, what are you learning? What are you seeing? I think it's just a different conversation than if you're like at VRMA or
Totally.
any other conference.
And we have just like this really open industry in general
Yeah.
where you can have conversations with your direct competitors or indirect, like
Yeah,
anybody. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is a really big pain point for us
100%.
too. And I think that's so unique
Yeah.
to our industry.
I couldn't agree more. Well, I've really enjoyed chatting with you. This has
Same.
been awesome. We should start another morning segment with this beautiful
I
background.
know. It
Like,
looks so good. Do you have the bookshelf?
I don't know. Maybe.
It looks really
Yeah.
It's kind of like we're on the beach right now, even though we're in Minneapolis and it is in fact raining and has been for 4
Yes,
days
it's sad.
and cold. Yeah.
It reminds me of Seattle, and I'm not happy
Yeah. I'm
about
not
it.
happy
Yeah.
either. I know this has been so fun.
Yeah,
Thanks for
it's fun.
having
Yeah, of
me
course.
for the
And
morning coffee
yeah,
chat.
cheers. And for all the listeners and viewers, everything will be in the show notes that we talked about. So make sure you like and subscribe. And then if you want to, what'd you say?
Follow me. Oh,
Properly or kindly debate or what was the
kindly debate. I was
Yes.
like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe, follow, and make sure you tell your mom about the podcast.
Yeah.
Make sure she's listening to it now.
Yes, let's debate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Friendly debate. about AI. All right, Lino, we are here at the TravelNet Next conference. How are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. Well, another great event, and the track team really puts on a really, really good show.
I will say, I think we've been a little spoiled here. So going to any other conference after this is going to be maybe rough. We'll see. The food has been really good. I'm
Really,
impressed.
even the snack table is
Yes.
better than most conferences' entire presentation. So fantastic.
I couldn't agree more. I love it. Okay, so let's talk about what you guys are doing with Be Home 24/7. I want to get the update. We haven't had you on the podcast in a deep dive conversation yet, so soon to come. But would love to know. Give us the update. What's going on with the business? What are you guys seeing in the industry, and what's the future looking like?
Yeah, first and foremost, we're excited to be a track certified partner. So that means tighter integrations and seamless transitions of some of the data and the like. So we're very, very excited about that. Be Home, we've been very busy in operational efficiencies.
Mm.
So anything that we can do to make your jobs easier and automated so that you can focus on really the guest, the owner, and your company culture, and not pushing paperwork through departments and having
Yeah.
10 different tools you have to use to run your day to day. Those are the old days in ways of doing this business.
Well, you've been a property manager before, and I don't know if are you still a property manager?
I am. I'm the principal in Scenic Stays, a
Okay.
vacation rental company in the Panhandle of Florida.
Okay, so perfect. That's even better. But my message, or I guess theme that we've been hearing, is that people are tired.
Yeah.
Like it's getting to the point of I think people are just overall exhausted.
Yeah.
Teams are exhausted. Owners are exhausted. The market's continuing to change. Technology is continuing to change.
Okay.
So, what's your message to people that are just tired? Like, do you
Yeah.
have anything that helps prevent that with you?
Yeah, and the busy work. You
Yeah.
know, as I said, pushing paper through departments is exhausting, and
Yeah.
it's boring, and keeps you away from what really matters, and that's hospitality, right?
Yeah.
If we can spend more time taking care of owners and guests and less time running the business and pushing buttons, that's the best case scenario. Labor's hard to find. Everybody's coming off of the beach companies coming off of
Yeah.
busy seasons and getting them to refocus, let the technology do what it was built to do,
Yeah.
and spend more time with owners and guests.
So how do you balance that then? Because a lot of people are like, I got in this for hospitality,
Yeah.
right? I'm not here to be a tech entrepreneur and learning all these new tech pieces. And now do I not only have to learn this new thing called AI and all this other stuff, right? How do you balance that? Like, what is that key like metric for you in order to make sure the technology is just running and you're able to provide hospitality?
First and foremost, good tech is seamlessly integrated, and it's working in the background, just
Okay.
like a great employee with their heads down.
But
If
they
you're
don't go to sleep and they don't argue and they don't have a lunch break and they
It
don't have
That's exactly right,
Yeah.
but if you're spending time worrying about your tech and hitting buttons in your tech, you probably have the wrong tech partner,
Mm.
and so that's something to consider when you think about your overall tech stack. Everything ought to be seamless and integrated and move the efficiency through the system versus you having to stop at some point to go back to manual intervention.
Yeah. Well, so Brandy Canali, COO of Romy, she always talks about her kind of vendor requirements
Yeah.
for going through her tech stack and who's on the chopping block when it's time. If
Yeah.
not, how do they pick their next vendor? So what's your advice for any property manager that is looking to advance their tech stack or grow their tech stack or maybe replace a piece of their tech stack with somebody else?
I always looked at my vendors as partners in my business's success,
Mhm.
right? And so if your vendor isn't intimately involved in your business and looking at how you run your individual company,
Mhm.
that's something you really should consider. When I look at this industry in particular, you can have two companies in the same market with the same inventory profile, and they run their businesses completely different.
Yeah.
And your vendors ought to be flexible enough to learn and think about how you run your business versus selling you a piece of software and telling you have a great life.
Yeah. I totally agree. That's a good way to phrase it. So we're at Next. What are you trying or hoping to get the most out of for this conference? Obviously, you're getting to see a lot of your partners, a lot of your clients. Anything in particular that you came here to drive home?
Yes, sell more. We want more people focusing more on hospitality and
Yeah.
less on just the day-to-day struggles
Yeah.
and inefficiencies in their business. I would say that the most important upcoming feature, and we're fully integrated, is with EV charging.
Yeah.
We've got a partnership with OK to Charge, and if you're not thinking about are your properties EV friendly, it's probably time to start considering that.
Yeah, we had Eric on.
Yeah.
Great guy. Amazing dude. And you guys have built a great team within the OK to Charge business and entity. So for all the listeners, make sure you check out that episode. But yeah, pretty fascinating to hear what Eric had to say about the kind of data behind EV and the road travel, right? Like the family that is with a Tesla or with an electric vehicle, and they don't have the ability to charge within their vacation rental. They have to go park at the Safeway, or they have to go do this. And yeah, it was pretty
Well,
fascinating.
most of the infrastructure and dollars going into EV are about those highway
Yeah,
charging stations. You see them. Hilton just announced, I
yeah,
think it was a week ago, 20,000 new units in their brand and
yeah.
across their network. And at the end of the day, when you go on vacation with your EV, it ought to be on vacation with you, not parked down the street at a bar while your family's at the property, you know? That's what
100%.
we're out to change.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Lino, it's been great to see you. Great to chat. And for all the listeners, where can they find you?
Well, Lino at BeHome247 is my email address, and I always give out my cell, 850-685-8325. If I can be of service, please look me up.
That's a dangerous call, but
I know you got a big audience, and no problem.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lino. And for all the listeners, you heard it here first. So make sure you tune in, and we'll see you guys at Verma and any other conference, right?
Yes, sir. We'll be
Awesome.
there. Thank you,
Sounds
Will.
great. Thank you. All right, Dennis, we are here. This is like your fourth, maybe fifth time on the podcast.
I did not count.
It's
Yeah.
been a lot. It's been a lot. The listeners should be used to your voice. We talk about you a ton on Good Morning Hospitality. We are big fans of Cassiola. Big fan of you guys. Anytime I go visit at the office, I can't miss that opportunity.
Any party is a good
any
reason
party.
to visit, right? Yeah.
Especially during Halloween. Your
Yeah.
guys' Halloween party
Yeah.
was fun. You guys put on a good show. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And speaking of parties, we'll talk about the VRMA beach party, the Cassiola beach party.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of talk to you real quick. In the industry, we're talking a lot of consolidation. People are tired. And then also you have these different kind of operation models now. Also a good mix of people building their own tech, buying tech, all this other stuff, right? You're used to the topics that we've talked about.
Yeah.
But you guys recently launched your franchise arm. So let's talk about that.
We did, absolutely. So scaling operations is really hard. We tried it in various different ways with our own staff, trying to get like GMs in place. And it's really, really hard. You need someone local that is part of the community, but that also really cares, that doesn't think like this is a job 9 to 5. And yeah, if a guest calls at like 8:30, not my problem anymore. So it actually all started with our Aruba adventure. So we decided to partner up with a local partner there, and we really saw amazing results there. So that was actually like the basis of our franchise model. We say, hey, if we can replicate that model there, it's going to be very successful.
Yeah, and you guys grew really quickly in Aruba. So when applying that to the United States, how is this going to scale? Because obviously you're not on one island.
Mhm.
You're going to be in many places.
Yeah.
So, just like how Cassiola has standards for the brand itself, how are you applying those standards across the board with your new franchises?
I think that's the most important part, what we're looking for. It's the people behind the franchise. It's not just, here's the money, I want to
Yeah.
buy a franchise and let's get started. We really need to have a good mix. We want a match with the people that we work with. They have to have the same values. They have to be able to stand behind the mission and work with us on that. And then we have a whole set of tools. They're still going to have to do a lot of work because we have a lot of people that come to us and they think that we are going to do everything for them, but that's not how it works. You still have to put in the work, but we're going to give you the tools, the coaching, the software, the brand, the marketing, so that you can focus on what's really important, and that's growing your owner base, taking care of your owners and taking care of your guests.
How much does that impact the bottom line when it's like you're taking a lot off their plate? Yes, they have to do a lot of the work still.
Yeah.
But when you have the ability to basically onboard into a really well and robust built system, how much does that actually impact the bottom line with these franchises?
There's two things. There's on one side you have the money part, and on the other side you have the time part. So we really believe that we can save you 2, 3, 4 years in just figuring everything out yourself. We've grown from 20 homes to 350, and all the pains that come with it. Your business has to change when you're at 80 homes, and it has to change again when you're at 150 and at 250. And we have a really good system now that is scalable for your operations. So time is here very important. Second thing is we have the economies of scale. We already have built so much software that is ready and available. And I really believe that you cannot do it cheaper yourself. We charge a 4.9% franchise fee, but you get so much in return. If I had to do all those things myself as a small operator, I would definitely be paying more than a 4.9%.
100% on top of all the software costs. And as Robin Cragen says, getting 20 bucked to death.
Exactly. Yeah.
Happens
Property. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and especially also the focus. It's simple. Like everybody can build a website these days. You have all those tools. You have WordPress, you have Wix, you have all those other systems. But it takes so much of your time. You have to write the copy. You have to search the photos. You have to look for a team. And you get all that from day one. So there's not even like months and months that you need to get going. You can focus from day one on, hey, where can I get owners? How can I get them on board? And really focus on what property management is, and that's taking care of your guests and the owners.
Well, and also running a profitable business. I think a lot of people, especially on Good Morning Hospitality, Brandy and I, we talk a lot about how these margins are thin. Like this is not a huge profit margin industry. So the more that is able to be kind of baked into the cost of operating, paying a franchise fee that's 4.9% versus paying, $100 to this software, $100 to that software, $1,000 to this one. And then, all of a sudden the profit that you're making from your 25% commission off of any booking is now like close to nothing. Yeah. And on top of labor, like not even counting human capital.
And you have all those startup costs too, but again, the time that goes into it, that's something that a lot of people underestimate. If you migrate like PMS systems, for example, you pay a certain fee to get going, but you're spending months and months and months to go through the whole due diligence process, looking at all the different systems that are out there, then onboarding, and we can really help you with that, and that's more importantly your time. When I started, I never thought that it was going to be so hard. This is the hardest thing I've done. I've run a company with 120 employees in 7 different countries. That's peanuts compared to property management. It's 7 days a week, 24/7. It never stops, and that makes it so hard on your personal life. And if we can take away a lot of those headaches, you're just going to have a better quality of life. You're going to grow faster. You're going to have less to worry about, and you're going to do it in a more economic way than doing it yourself. So for me, it's really a win-win combination. I'm not saying that because I'm selling franchises, but I really wish there was a great system around when I started, because it's coaching, it's software. You don't have to worry about all those things anymore.
Yeah, you're helping alleviate the pain that you had to go through. That
Absolutely.
was years versus what you can do for a franchise. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You and I were talking kind of in the hallway, and we're here at Next for TravelNet. So for all the listeners, if you're not watching the video, you can go watch the video wherever we post. But we're here at this conference, and I was talking to you and Michael. Shout out to Michael, CFO, my man, Michael Scott.
Greatest CFO in the world.
He's awesome. We talk, I think, almost daily now. So we're chugging along. But, talking about the investor market right now. So you guys launched Guest Store. And when you and I got to chat for the first time at your office, I think you guys had just launched it or were just getting ready to. Now the market's changed a lot.
Yeah.
So give us some high-level overview of what's happening within the investment market of short-term rentals.
Yeah. So we started with Guest Store, I think, in 21. We launched it in San Antonio, the VRMA conference. And it was probably the best time ever to get to short-term rentals. Property values were still low, interest rates were low. So we bought several properties as well in Orlando as in Miami. Returns on those have been great. I think, they almost doubled in value in a matter of a year. But we feel that we're at like the peak of the market right now. So interest rates are really high. The property values are high. It's harder and harder to get a nice return, especially in those markets. So we're a little bit on a holding pattern right now. We're waiting until interest rates go down or the market goes down so that we can buy properties that continue to have the high return.
Definitely. Well, and sorry, Brandy, if you're listening or watching, but brings up the amount of supply in Miami, right? It's
Mhm.
just like every day a new building is being built.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you guys are mostly in Orlando, but you also have launched your Miami
Yeah.
market. And
Yeah.
so, how are you guys feeling about the kind of supply versus demand ratio right now?
We see it in markets like Orlando, but also Aruba. So Aruba is a good example because it's an island. So you have a certain number of planes coming in each day.
Yeah.
And the supply has grown 20% in Aruba over the last year. They didn't only add more homes, but also hotel rooms. But the number of people coming into that market is still the same. You don't just add another route to Aruba. It's still the same amount of people coming into the market. And what we've seen is, lower occupancy and lower rates. So that's happening in Orlando. So far, we have not seen that in Miami. I know that they're building new buildings every single day. But I think after COVID, there's still people are going back more to cities now. They haven't done that as much in 2022. But now you see a lot more people going back to urban markets. So we're still seeing an increase in the Miami market.
Very interesting. I was going to say for Miami and Orlando specifically, I think more Miami than anything, but this is normally an international hub. A lot of people from international travel come into Miami. We've all seen that Europe is packed and traveling is very much a thing there. Do you think we'll see that reverse again back to where a lot of international travelers coming back to the United States versus the United States travelers to Europe?
Yeah, I think there was a whole lot of pent-up demand this summer. People that have been wanting to go to Europe since COVID. It's almost 3 years, and this was like the first year that everything was back open, that there were no restrictions, that you could travel. So I think a lot of people did, and it's going to go a little bit more back to normal next year. That's my prediction. You had those waves also coming to Orlando, for example. That was 2022.
Yeah.
Everybody had been going to the mountains and the beach in 21, so now they wanted to go back to be around other people, which is Disney World and cities. And this year was Europe, so hopefully next year we see a normalized market.
Yeah. Well, it's also very interesting that I heard you say yesterday, because I think of Disney. I have family there. I go visit my nieces. We go to Disney World. We do the run, Animal Kingdom, all this fun stuff. But you were telling me that actually Orlando is a bigger conference market. There's a McDonald's franchise conference and all this crazy stuff, right? We were having lunch with Ryan Bailey yesterday, and we're talking about that. So maybe is that an overall myth of Orlando that it's just for families and Disney, or what's kind of
I think so. In the last few years, we had around 75 million visitors coming to Orlando, and more or less half of it is for the theme parks. So that means the other half is in Orlando for conventions. We have the second largest convention center in the US, and they just put massive shows on there. It's a little bit like Vegas. They also tracked a lot of those shows. And the same in Orlando. So it's not just leisure travel, but also a lot of B2B.
Very fun. Well, speaking of Orlando and conventions
and fun,
the one thing we can't forget to talk about on this podcast, as we're excited to partner with you guys as your media partner for the Cassiola Beach Party. What can we expect with this huge soiree of activities and fun that you guys have built out?
We're really, really excited about that. So it all started in Vegas last year. I think on Monday night, I got around 15 invitations for different events and dinners from all kinds of vendors. And we made the ambitious plan to visit 5 of them. And then we started, and after 2 or 3, we were so exhausted and everybody wanted to go back to their hotel rooms. So I thought there must be like a better way. Why don't we get everybody together in one location, get all the vendors together and do something like really, really cool. And since VRMA was coming to Orlando, which is our home market, I thought, okay, let's just take the initiative and see who wants to join us. So we thought, okay, if we want to do something like that, we do need to go big. So we thought, we're going to rent out an entire theme park. We have been looking at some options, and we settled on Discovery Cove, which is like a hidden gem in Orlando. Most people don't even know Discovery Cove, but it's like a little paradise right in the middle of iDrive that most people don't know. So it's tropical themed. It's during the day, it's an all-inclusive water park. So we rented out the whole entire park for the evening. and we're going to throw a massive beach party. There's going to be entertainments. There's going to be gifts. We have a whole bunch of amazing partners that are going to spoil all our guests. And yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I just found out today that I'm donating myself for all the listeners and viewers that are going to be there
Yeah,
to be
thank
part
you
of
for
the-
that.
I was going to say, you really drive a hard bargain.
So part of the event is also we want to drive awareness of advocacy. We always see those events also at VRMA and other locations where you have like the big companies donating like $50,000 or $60,000 for advocacy, which is great, of course, because we need that money. But we want to get the smaller guys involved too. We also need that $10, that $50 from everyone. And more importantly, we need everybody to participate.
Yeah.
It's not just a few CEOs that are going to change the market there. We need everybody to be involved. And to create that awareness, we added an advocacy component to the event so people can, it's free for property managers, but we also offer donation tickets. They're $50 and the proceeds go 100% to the advocacy fund. But we also want to do something fun at the event itself. And we came up with a dunk tank, and we're looking for some amazing industry leaders to donate their body for the good cause. And we really appreciate you joining us. We have a couple of others like Steve Trover, Steve Milo. We're looking at others, so it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Well, so if you're listening, tuning in, watching the video, and you're wanting to donate to advocacy, but maybe your pockets don't have the amount that you want to donate, but you can donate your body to get dunked and to have others pay to dunk you. So
yeah,
I'm excited. It'll be.
Let's see how much you're worth.
I was going to
It's
say,
gonna be...
Julie George has not had success auctioning me off in the past on stage or at conferences, so I might not be worth much to you, but hey, I'm down to get dunked, and especially in Orlando, it's going to be hot, so it'll be maybe a nice cool down for the day.
Absolutely.
Very excited. Well, thank you, Dennis, again for standing with me here at Next. The conference question I've been asking everybody: what was the main goal for you when you're coming to this conference? Are you here to network? Are you here to learn? What was the main?
So first of all, I want to see where track is going, the future, and networking with the people that are making it happen. You usually don't see them, but everybody's here, the engineers, the customer success team leadership, and that's important for me to talk to all of them, not just the salespeople, but the people that really make it happen.
For sure. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Dennis.
Thank
and
you.
Of course, we'll be seeing you very, very, very soon.
Absolutely. Thanks.